Hi, everybody. This is Teresa Parker, your host for Area 58 Mysteries. And I've got somebody on the phone right now that we're going to talk about her UFO experience just literally a couple of weeks ago. She contacted me immediately upon seeing it. And I think it was about 45 minutes later. And we talked about it. And it's just really special, you guys. This is a first person telling of a UFO experience out there in the Mojave Desert. And just so you know, Dawn Ferguson, my buddy here, I'm talking about, she is part of the Area 58 Mysteries universe. She's going to come along with me for a lot of this, especially field trips. And we'll talk about our experiences here. But I'm going to let Dawn take it away. Dawn, tell me when this was, and just don't leave out any details. Take it away.
Okay. Hi, Teresa. Thanks for
Hey,
having me.
you
And
betcha.
this was on June 15th because I was out doing yard sales here in California City, and there wasn't a whole lot of yard sales. So myself and Jorge decided to go down to the next little town, which is called Mojave. I was driving towards the 14 on the California City Boulevard, and I was about in the area. We have a little airport out here, and
Hmm.
my husband looked at me and says, "What is it that in the sky?" And so I slowed down and I looked, and the first thing I thought
Hmm.
it might be one of those classic airplanes coming into the airport to get some fuel. Well, we kept looking, and it was kind of hovering there. It wasn't really moving fast, but it was coming towards us slowly because it kept getting bigger in size. And
Hmm.
I was like, that is not an airplane. The look of it was just crazy. It looked like a PVC pipe, but iridescent, like sparkly. And on each
Wow.
end of it was a big white ball. And on the top of the PVC portion of it was a hump, and it was like a grayer in color, like a gray white.
Hmm.
And it was just, it was amazing, is what it was. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, what? You get confused and you start questioning yourself. Am I really seeing this, or am I seeing it wrong? But the closer it got to me, I was like, that's a UFO. That's got to be a UFO.
Yeah,
And
that's that's an amazing thing in and of itself. But let me ask you a question. When you saw it, to be able to see that sparkly side, it had to be coming at you at a right angle, right? Kind of like because
correct.
yeah, okay. So eventually, at some point, do you think did it came at you more perpendicularly and not as a from a right angle far out there, but then you kind of got closer to more looking at the front of it, do you think?
Yeah, I think it was the front because the way it was hovering and getting closer to me, and how I knew it was getting closer because it kept getting bigger. But it was
Mm-hmm.
moving very slow. It didn't go up, it didn't go down, side to side. It stayed at the same angle that it was when I first seen it, and it just
Hmm.
hovering closer to me. I'd say it was about 2.5 miles, 3 miles away from me, because from California City Boulevard to the airport is about 5 miles. And I
Hmm.
think it was about halfway. There's also a marijuana distillery right there. And it was right in that area as well. And that's just not too far off of California City Boulevard.
Hmm.
So the size of it at the time, I was thinking, that's as big as a semi truck, but it might have been bigger than that just because of being able to see it so clearly.
You mean around and also in length?
Yes. No,
Okay.
not. It's like when I drew a picture and sent it to you. It
Yeah.
it was smaller in the pipe area, like the PVC pipe area, the
Mm-hmm.
elongated, and
Mm-hmm.
it was the balls were bigger than that
The tube.
pipe. Yeah,
Okay.
and they were so bright white. I don't know if they were lit or if it was just so bright from the sun, because it was a beautiful day. It was pure blue skies, no clouds anywhere, and the sun was shining. It was about 8:30 in the morning, nice and clear. So I was like really blessed to be able to just experience that.
Wow. It's just it blows me away. I know you told me very shortly after it happened because we talk about this stuff all the time when we're in the mysterious Mojave, but stuff goes on out here. But I'm blown away with the clarity at which, and now you said originally told me you thought you saw it for about 2 minutes or
Yeah,
thereabouts. Now, how did the
correct.
whole thing end? Tell people how it ended.
I went ahead and slowed down. There wasn't a lot of traffic on California City Boulevard, so I was going really slow on the edge of the road. And we kept watching it, and it was about 2 minutes. And all of a sudden, it was just gone. It cloaked, or just, I think it cloaked because it
Mm-hmm.
totally was invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Jorge was looking in the sky, behind us, everywhere, and it was nowhere to be seen. It just dissolved. It just
Just
poof, was
disappeared.
gone. Yeah, it was just
Wow.
gone.
Okay, and now for those who do not know, tell everybody about how far away Edwards is and where it is oriented to Cal City.
Okay. Edwards Air Force Base is about a 15-minute drive from me south.
Yeah.
Everything that's in the sky or anything that they do, sonic booms, testing, we hear it, we see it. So we see a lot of crazy things in the skies here in California City, a lot
Yeah.
of night. So
Yeah. I hear the
uh,
booms over here too. It travels this far. We heard a big one this morning. Did you hear that massive boom that it just resonated forever?
yeah, and there was some yesterday too. I've been
Mm-hmm.
seeing that humongous airplane. This airplane is just humongous, and it flies around and has two smaller jets following it
Mm-hmm. I
everywhere.
haven't seen it out here.
I'm not sure what they're going to use that for, but that thing, B-52s are big, but this is even bigger than that. It's
It's got to
like
be
two
cargo.
B-52s. Yeah, it might be. It might be
So it's one
cargo.
of the biggest ones you've ever seen out there, probably.
Oh yes. Oh yes. This
Mm.
thing is
But
huge.
it can't fly fast enough to make a sonic boom, so there must be something else going on.
Yes, we have NASA here as well,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah,
kind of
people don't
cool.
know. Yeah, it is. People do not know that Area 51 is actually an annex of Edwards. It
Wow.
is. It's an annex, yeah. And so what goes on at the base, you know, um, I mean, they do everything from, like you said, they do the super secret, not so secret because they're in the sky, but they do the secret testing. They do other laser stuff out there. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And
Oh yes,
I've been
yes.
reading up lately about all the Bigfoot sightings that the guys at the guard shacks have seen over the years, and that is just another little wrinkle to the mysteries of Area 58 right there. I mean, that is right in the heart of where you're talking.
Well, we have these big mountains surrounding us, and over by Edwards, along the side where they do speed tests out there in the desert, there you look at the top, and there's these towers, and down at the bottom, it's almost like there's a place that they go into the mountain. You can't
Mm-hmm.
get up to look at it because I'm going to tell you what, you get up close to the fences and you're not military, you're going to be escorted off. So,
Or worse, get arrested.
yeah,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
worse.
there's all kinds of stuff going up there. Yeah, they got I know what you're talking about. I know exactly those hills that are there. They're kind of like foothills. They're not super, super high. They could be 1,000 feet. I don't know. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. So back to the UFO. So and you did send me the picture, and I'm gonna throw it into this all of this is going into a podcast for Area 58 Mysteries and what we're talking about here, including that picture. That picture, you drew it and then you painted it the
Yes,
color, the colors that you saw.
yes.
It was it more because like the picture you showed me was more flesh colored rather than white. Is that kind of sort of what it was, or you just use that
Well,
as a color?
just a color. The two balls were just, crystal clear. The whiter than white. They were super
Mm-hmm.
white. And the
Mm-hmm.
tube itself, it was like a whitish grayish color, but it was
Mm-hmm.
still light. But
Mm-hmm.
it was like shining in the sun. It was iridescent, like a sparkly glitter or something. It was just so odd. But the little hump on the top was actually like a flatter white gray. It didn't have any sparkle to it at all.
Let me ask you, when you were going you're going perpendicular to it. I mean, it's right angle to you. It's to the right, and you're kind of coming to a point. Was that about the point at which it would have come over you, or was it way out there still yet when it disappeared?
Oh, it was still out there, at least 2 miles, I would say, but it was
Mm-hmm.
so close that you could see details. It was like I was kind of like in awe. It's like
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
brain stopped working for a little bit, but I tried to absorb all the details I could. And the glistening on the tube was kept catching my eye, and how bright the balls were on each end.
Do
And
you think, let me interrupt you, I'm sorry. Do you think possibly that it was bigger than you thought? Because if you see something that's bigger than a semi that's 2 miles away, I'm probably going to tell you you can't see detail that far away unless you have binoculars, you know?
yeah, oh,
So it must
it
have
could
been
have
bigger than
been.
you thought.
Yeah, it could have been bigger, T, because I'm telling you, you could see it really well. And when I got done and I went home, I started looking online, and there's been so many sightings of the same kind of ship, and they call it a pill, a PILL, a pill
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah.
And same thing. I mean, people have taken pictures of the exact same thing that I saw. So it's so wild in different states, in different places. It was just like, cool, I'm part of the group now.
Yeah, you are. You really are. I mean, now, just as an aside, tell the audience how many times your husband, Jorge, has seen one out there.
This is his third sighting. Totally different kind of ship, but it's his third sighting. And
And the
one,
first one was what? What type? Just curious.
the very first one was a triangle. Well, let me see. That was the second one. The first one was the round one. It was on the empty lot across from our house. Every Saturday night, we sleep outside and count satellites. I know it sounds silly, but we
No, I
like
do the
doing
same.
that.
Yeah,
And
because you can see them out here really well.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And so he was outside taking the blankets and everything to our outside bed, and he come in running trying to get me, and he's like, his eyes are huge, and he's telling me that there's a spaceship outside and stuff. So I went out, and by the time I got out there, it was gone. And he started doing the details, and it was round, and it had the lights that went around the bottom of it, and it was pretty good size.
How big did he say that one was?
Oh, if it was over the empty lot, it was probably as big as a house,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would say. And he
Yeah.
said the lights were really bright, and they were going around the bottom of the ship itself.
I bet that's very similar to the one that the people who used to live here saw on
Oh,
two occasions. Yeah, we had two occasions in 1995 where the gal who lived here, she was the daughter, she's about 16, and she saw one out in the desert. I've chronicled it in on my podcast, but she saw one, and she said it was full of lights, absolutely full of lights, and it was hovering out there in the desert, catty corner from our place. And then
wow.
not too long after that, it was the same time frame of year and year of the year and in the year, um, where our neighbors to our north actually said it uh, there was one between our properties, and you know what it looks like between us and the people to our north, to
Oh,
our,
yeah.
if you're, what that looks like. That would have been right on our property. There's no way to straddle the two without being on it. So apparently we've been visited. And then tell us about the second one Jorge saw.
The second one was more triangular. There was like the 3 points of light. It
Mm-hmm.
was triangular, and then the sky. And what's so odd about him seeing that, I have had several people that have seen the same thing going over California City, and it has no sound to it whatsoever. And it's 3 points of light,
Mm-hmm.
triangular. It
Mm-hmm.
like goes over the city. And these are respectable people, firefighters and people like that.
Yeah,
And
officers. Yeah.
yeah, officers. And for them to come in and say, "Oh my gosh, you ain't gonna believe what I just seen," and it's over the city itself. It isn't
Are we
off in
talking
the.
big?
Yes, very
Like
big.
massive, massive big?
Well, like maybe a quarter size of a football field.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that size. And it
Mm-hmm.
was hovering, going and moving at a pretty good speed, not super fast, but a pretty good speed over the actual city itself, over
Wow,
the
and he saw it.
stores, over everything. Yes. And then
Wow.
Jorge had seen it. And I had heard about the triangle UFO many times, like I said, from people that have
Mm-hmm.
seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
now Jorge has seen it. I want to see that one too.
Well,
I'm ready.
the triangle one, now that back in the gosh, can't remember what year this was, 90s, I think it was. I could be wrong. Absolutely could be wrong on that one, but there were something called the Phoenix Lights, and basically it was just, and many people saw it, including I think the governor or something. But anyway, point being, that sucker was so big that it blocked out the sky when it was overhead of people, so you couldn't even see it. That's how
Wow.
big it was, big and slow, and it came. This is crazy, man. It came from, people saw it, I think, beginning to see it right around Henderson, Nevada. And then
Oh,
it
wow.
made its way south. And it apparently, people, and I was just in Paulden, Arizona about a month ago, late May actually. Um, and the person I was visiting said, yeah, people in Paulden saw that big, huge, massive UFO going over Paulden on its way on its way to Phoenix.
Wow.
So, and because there's a bit of a southeast kind of a direction from Henderson, and see, what's funny about that is Henderson is a stone's throw, as things go, as the bird flies, to Area 51.
Oh
So
my. Oh
yeah,
my.
exactly. So the fact that he saw one, maybe not quite that big, but a triangle. Now the triangles have been, of course, we know about the stealth. It's not the stealth. It's a whole different situation, right? I mean, did he see
Yes,
it
correct.
in
Because
daylight or was it nighttime?
it was dusk, and there was no color to it. It was void of anything. It was dark in the triangle, and
Mm-hmm.
the only light that was with it was the 3 points of light on each
Mm-hmm.
corner. And it was the
Mm-hmm.
same way with my friends. They said the exact same thing. It was just dark, but there was no sound to it, and it just moved. It glided, and it,
Wow.
yeah, amazing. I'm gonna tell you what, people need to come out to California City Desert. There's plenty of places to camp out here, and you see things in the sky all the time.
And
We
it's just
are,
a mundane.
yeah, we're a small town, but we're the third largest landmass in California. RVers come
Oh,
out here by the thousands on the
for
weekends and
acreage, you mean?
holidays.
You mean
Yeah,
for
and
acreage? Yeah, yeah. Because of the
I'm
county is so
counting.
damn big. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
it's
what
amazing.
county? What county is that?
Kern County.
Kern. That's right. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
knew that.
we're off Kern. We're down
Um.
from but we're east of Bakersfield and Tehachapi, off of the 14,
Mm-hmm.
and also off of the 58 when you're
Mm-hmm.
heading to Las Vegas and them
Yeah.
places.
Yeah. We're only probably. Well, it starts at A. Obviously, just over the north border after A is Kern County. So we can see Kern County. We're right here, but it's just a
Yeah,
few miles away. But um, okay, so you said also that it was, remember you telling me that because it was windy and you're driving, you didn't hear anything necessarily, and it was moving fairly slow, but you knew it was moving towards you because it was getting bigger.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was
But
heading,
you didn't hear anything. Like you always expect to hear something because of the airplanes and things like that, but there was no sound. I couldn't hear anything.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
oftentimes that's all I hear is the plane going over, and I can't even spot it because the sun is bright, the sky is blue, and sometimes you just can't find that thing. The fact that you saw it. Now, let me ask you this: how high in the air would you say it was?
Hmm. Well, if you've got the distillery, which is a pretty good size building where they do hydroponic marijuana for medical and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I'd say it's probably the same height is that maybe 2 times above that.
So how many floors do you think the marijuana place is?
I'd say 2 floors. So I'd say it was at least 6 to 8 floors above the
That's low.
facility. Yeah, it was really low.
That's
It was
extremely low.
crazy. Yes, it was really low. That's why I thought it was a plane coming in to get fuel at the little airport that we have, because
That
it
would
was
make
so
sense.
low. And it was
Oh
like,
my God.
wow.
I had no idea it was that low to the ground when you
Oh
said that,
yeah,
because
it was very low.
that's not like a little Cessna 1500 feet, flying, learning how to fly or whatever, it's not that situation. It is almost to the ground at that point.
Exactly. And it,
And
it was kind of funny that it was over the marijuana place. I was like, well, yeah. I kept thinking, I was like, are they interested in that or what's going on?
yeah, they beamed out some weed and then they had a party after that. So
Oh,
oh my gosh, that is crazy, Don. That is such a crazy story because it just happened.
yes. Yes.
And
On
those
the
and
15th. Yeah.
yeah, and
June
the other
15th.
people that have seen them. I don't know about all over the world, but for sure, I know I read one where you said you saw the same video, and I took a screen grab of it, and I'll probably put it in this podcast, but to show everybody the similarities between the things you're talking about and the thing you saw. I mean, the one you saw online, and then the one you actually saw with your eyes, but um.
It
It's
was
hard.
Amazing. It was amazing. It
Yeah.
makes me want to go back out there after the podcast and go look and see if there's anything out there today.
So it was moving in a southerly direction, and if it continued south, it would miss the Edwards, because Edwards is a little more to the east from there,
Correct.
but not by much. It would have probably
No.
gone straight into Rosamond or something.
Yeah, it went over Mojave first, because you go down the
Mm-hmm.
14, hit Mojave, and then Roseman is after Mojave, and
Mm-hmm.
then Edwards
You
is
would
a
have to
little
go
bit
left.
east. Yeah, and there's still places out there that Edwards owns on the east side of Mojave and stuff, because it's a big place. It's a big Air Force base.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you mean all the plane, that whole business. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the airport, the actual airport right there, the Mojave
Oh,
Airport.
and I'm
It looked.
sure they knew it was here. I mean, it seems like they know everything that goes on.
Well, of course
You
they
know,
did. Of course they did, because they have radar too. And unless it's able to
exactly.
not be under radar, they saw it just as plain as day, and then they saw it disappear, or at least they saw it disappear from because like you couldn't see it anymore, but if it cloaked or had the ability to change
Yeah.
its ability to be seen, they could have still seen it probably on their radar if they ever got it at all. And then, yeah, too bad we can't talk to somebody. Nobody wants to say anything to anybody. That of course the military is not going to say anything, but I mean,
Yeah.
other people, I'd like to run this past. Hopefully, this podcast. That's why I'm doing the podcast. I'm going to be honest. This is, besides the fact that it's entertaining as hell, I want to get this to eyes that who know this stuff. I want them to see or hear what we're talking about, and so that maybe other people can come forward and go, I saw the same thing, because you're not the only one that saw it. You can't be.
No, I can't. And there's so many sightings here in California City. I'm surprised that it isn't a mecca for UFO sightings. Just like you said with the Phoenix Lights and stuff. Everybody kind of flocked there and down to Florida when they was having them and everything. I'm surprised there's not more people here looking for UFOs, because there are so many and different kinds.
Yeah, there are so many and different kinds. Not only that, but it sounds like it's pretty prevalent. Me and you, just putting it out there, we're gonna go out in the desert soon and do one of those overnight viewing parties where we're gonna watch the night sky and see what happens.
Exactly. I've
Yeah.
seen some crazy stuff in the sky. Like, I was out just laying in a lounge chair, just relaxing. I always love watching the stars here, because you never know what you're going to see. And there was a satellite. Well, I thought it was a satellite, and it was just going through the sky. You know how fast they move most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
But this satellite stopped, completely stopped, and then went back the opposite way. Floop. I was like, well, that wasn't a satellite. I was like, yeah, it was crazy. It was
No.
small, like a star, like a satellite. Yeah, and it just stopped midair up in the sky and went completely the opposite direction. I was like,
Well, I'm
yeah,
here to tell you didn't see a satellite.
no,
That wasn't a satellite.
it wasn't a satellite.
You know, as many years as I've watched for satellites out here, just like you, we go out at night and we just look up and we count them. Basically, it's just a fun game. But as many times as I've seen them, I've never seen one stop. I did see one thing one time, and we were up at, and this is interesting to get into because you and I are also going to go up to Fraser Park and check that area
Yeah.
out for Bigfoot activity. But people have seen Bigfoot activity up there. Anyway, so one time we're up there, me and Jay, we're up there, we're camping, and we're looking off to our northeast, no, southeast, and we saw what we thought was a satellite, and it was getting brighter and brighter
Oh,
and bigger and brighter and bigger and bigger and bigger and brighter, and it was coming right at us. Pretty much that's what it felt like. It was coming right towards us. It wasn't going away from us. It wasn't, you know what I mean? You could tell
yeah.
it was coming in our direction. Then all of a sudden the light went out.
Gone.
That was it. But it was
Wow.
huge. It was huge in the sky. It was probably where most satellites you see are pinpoints. They don't come at you. That's the first thing. I mean, they could go over your head, but they're so high up in the sky, they're just pinpricks. I see them better actually with I even see more with binoculars, but with the naked eye, they're tiny. They look like stars, right?
Yes.
This one was huge. If you
Wow.
can imagine looking up in the sky and seeing a pinprick, and then looking off more at the horizon, little higher, but still the horizon, and it becoming as big as a quarter. Out in the, you know what I mean? Out in the sky.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Wow.
So we may have seen something that night. We don't know, but suffice to say, what you saw is for sure. No doubt
Yes,
about it.
for sure.
I didn't see
And
any detail on ours.
And the satellite, the non-satellite that I saw, I also
Hmm.
had a witness there. I had a girlfriend that had flew in from Indiana, and she was out there with me. And I think kind of scared her. I think she was ready to go back to Indiana.
Tell her they got them over Indiana too.
I was like, well, honey, you never know what you're going to see out here in California.
That's a fact. Yeah, that's for sure. If we think of any more details, I'll throw it into the podcast. But suffice to say, it didn't make any noise. You said it because you were driving in the car. You didn't hear it. You saw it. You knew it was getting bigger, and it was at least as big as a semi. At least.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was good size.
How you couldn't really see lengthwise, but how? I mean, is that what you mean by semi? Not just the girth, but the
Yeah,
length of it, maybe?
yeah, length. The length
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at because it seemed like the part that looked like PVC pipe was a lot skinnier than the ends of it. The
Mm-hmm.
balls
Mm-hmm.
were bigger than the actual middle part of the ship itself. It was like, yeah. It's like taking
Well,
two big basketballs and then putting a PVC pipe between them with a hump on top. And that's like
wow.
the size of it right there. It was crazy.
That is crazy. Man, I'm so happy you saw it because I'm happy you can relay it to me because I don't know anybody personally seen a UFO except for you and Jorge, of course. And now you've seen one that is just out of this world. Of course it's out of this world, but you know what I mean by it wasn't a saucer, it
Out of
wasn't
this
a
world. That was funny.
yeah, out of this world. Well, I say that, but I'm going to be honest, we have a lot of reverse engineering. I don't know that we've been able to accomplish one of those tic tac stuff.
No, I as far as I know anyway, and with it being so many different places and everything.
Mm,
But hopefully we see something when we go out on our overnight excursion. I'm hoping that we see something.
I'm very
I mean,
excited
it
just to
seems
count
like it happens all
satellites.
the time here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
satellites, non-satellites, UFOs. I'd love to see a triangle one. Maybe we could put it out there in the universe and they'll hear us or something.
Never know. Hey, listen, I'm gonna ask you to in your travels around with people, if there's anybody that's seen one extremely well like you guys did and they want to talk to me,
Hmm.
tell them to holler because you know where I'm at.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I'll
Yeah.
talk to firefighter and the other people I know and stuff. So yeah. And
If nothing else, you can relay a story because I do trust, the source.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Hey, Don, we're going to get out of here, but I think we've said it all that needs to be said. I am going to include the illustration that you made, which is unreal, in my opinion. It's just, I can't thank you enough for being in the right place at the right time.
Oh, no problem, T. I hope it happens more than once.
Yeah, me too. I want to see something out here because we're looking at the eastern sky. I can kind of see Edwards from here with binoculars. I get them, I'm seeing past Rosemont. I'm seeing, it's off to the left, but I'm seeing into Edwards. That whole night sky is all eastern Edwards sky between Palmdale, the stuff that they, have out there, the skunk works, and
Oh,
Cal
okay.
City. I mean,
Yeah.
I have the whole night sky. I have the whole thing, just like you have the whole probably southern sky. We've got eastern. Well, you've got every sky.
I've got every sky because you can go in my backyard and see all of Edward
Every direction.
sky.
Yeah. We can't see to our west because
Yeah,
we got a
every
hill,
direction.
and we can't see to our south because we got a hill. We can see up in the sky. Don't get me wrong. The sky is all clear, obviously, but low to the ground, like what you saw, to our north, west, and south, we're a little bit of boxed in that way. We can see straight up, but we can see the full eastern sky, and I'm looking forward to. The day you told me, I went outside and started looking around because I thought maybe it's just cruising.
That would be cool. And when we go out to
Yeah,
the
wouldn't it?
desert for our overnight tea, you can't even see your hand in front of your face. It's so dark out there. You see the stars so super clear out there. It's just beautiful.
What road do you guys go out on?
I go out on Rendsburg, Mojave, off of
Mm-hmm.
California City Boulevard, going north.
Northeast? Yeah.
Rendsburg, Mojave, up in the 20 Mule Team area, past Borax Bills and stuff.
How long does it take you to get there from your place?
When we went to the graveyard out there, it's just
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes past that.
Okay. Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We're going to make a plan.
Okay, cool. And it's to the left because there's so many places out there. It's unreal. You can just kind of pick anywhere you want to go.
And just park safely and watch.
All
right. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait to do that. And if I think of anything else, I'll holler at you. But thank you for coming on. I'm going to post this into my podcast so that everybody can hear your descriptions and everything you went through.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you, Don.
Well, hope you enjoyed that, everybody.
Right.
That was a great
Bye.
story that Don gave us. And if you'd like to hear more, remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you're so inclined, send your paranormal stories, aliens, Bigfoot, ghosts, everything in between, to area58mysteries@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to talk to you about your story. Thanks for coming along with us. This is your host, Teresa Parker, and you've been listening to Area 58 Mysteries.